Afternoon. It's quite late. Do you like my bluebirds, by the way? Strategically placed. It's quite late in the afternoon, and there's a reason for that. Because every time I've decided I'm going to do this video, I've ended up on a video call with somebody. And that's okay. I don't mind because I have such fascinating conversations with people. Um, but I decided instead of writing my post today, because I've channeled this morning about this particular subject, um, but I decided I wasn't going to do write about it. I would do a video about it instead because I'm fully aware that sometimes when I'm writing, my posts are quite long, and I keep being told that if they're really long, then people probably don't read them all anyway. But in actual fact, what you're putting down in writing, if you was to actually say it instead, it wouldn't be that long. Um, I don't know, maybe people do read them, maybe they don't. Some of them will be going in my book anyway. But the subject today is resistance. So on Thursday night, I would have had the opportunity to go on a webinar, but as I have the students here, I wasn't able to do it. So there's a slight restriction in some respects of things that I want to do or I can do. So I'm having to adjust a little bit. At the moment, they've just took themselves to McDonald's for McDonald's, and then they've come back, so they're having a lay down in the bedroom. Um, so I thought I'll just take this opportunity now before I do the next thing that I'm going to do. So the word that came in was resistance. And I'm kind of going to talk a little bit about where I have resistance at the moment, because I'm fully aware that there are a lot of things that are changing for me, and I'm a bit scared about it. But I feel it's easy to go into resistance when you get scared. Now, this webinar, from Thursday night, I've actually listened to it today while I've been sort of doodling about doing my bits and pieces, because it were about an hour and a half long. But I had so many light bulb moments, because sometimes, as much as you know all this stuff, sometimes you just need a reminder. So when we're talking about resistance is about change. And sometimes when we're in that place of we get in that comfort zone, it's very easy to start resisting that change, because it's quite scary when you're stepping out of your comfort zone, and you can easily go into that pattern of stopping doing the things that were actually pushing you forward to change, because you get stuck in that mindset of fear. But I have what would be the word to say? It's kind of a metaphor, but it's just something that my guides gave me a couple of weeks ago, and they just kept reminding me of this elastic band effect. The thing that they brought up, and I can't remember the name of them, but years and years ago growing up, we used to have these like wooden Y-shaped things with elastic band, and we used to put peas in, and well, I didn't, but a lot of lads had them, and you pull the elastic back and then let it fling, and then you hit things with it. If anybody can tell me what they call, please write it in comments, because I can't remember, but I can see it in my mind. So that metaphor is about when that resistance, that pullback happens before you're projected onto that next level of your journey. And the resistance sometimes is us being afraid to kind of just let go and let God, or just let things happen, let things flow. And I found myself in this cycle of it for the last couple of weeks. And obviously part of that reason was why I did some journaling, because I needed to let go of stuff that I thought I'd already let go of. And I still believe I let go of it, but things were happening that was triggering those memories all over again. And as universe does, it brings things round to make sure that you've actually dealt with it and you have completely let it go. I'm aware that there is a very strong energy that's been coming in at the moment that's a bit like a flipping whirlwind and a hurricane, and it's literally picking everything up and shifting it, and it's like going round in this whirlwind, just like all this rubbish. So it's all of these memories and all of these ancestral stuff, lots of different things that's been brought up to the surface to clear it all out once and for all. And sometimes, depending on planets and stuff, we end up finding ourselves going back round that hamster wheel all over again. But it's not to keep you there. It's just to try and, it's like getting rid of the silt. But the resistance is when we get stuck in it and we don't have the tools to push us out of that, you know, for us to release it. And that's where we end up going to therapists and various different people for help and support. But what I wanted to tell you was the resistance basically is nothing to fear, because what it is, we fear it when we feel that we've got stuck again as that resistance pulls us back. But after resistance comes projection. You know, it's that pushing forward, that's that jumping forward, sending us forward onto that next level of what we've got to do here in our lives in whatever form. And I keep being reminded that the place where we get stuck is the bit of nothingness in the middle, you know, before that resistance has been released. But that bit in the middle is the bit where we do our most healing. And sometimes it can feel really lonely. Sometimes it can feel isolating, because we might not even understand or know how to navigate that, rather than just being and sitting in that stillness. I found myself, and I'm so grateful that I've got some really good supportive friends around me that I've been able to talk to them, and you know, it's not like you need them to give you answers, but you just need to know that you can speak to somebody and they're not going to judge you for whatever it is you're going to say or whatever it is you're going to think. They're just going to listen. I'm just looking at the light on my car through my window, and I can see there's a honeybee that's just landed on it, and she's cleaning all the legs and everything. I just love that stuff. But actually, that's another metaphor, because seeing her sat there like that, having a rest, you know, she's the one that's doing all the flying and going collecting all the nectar and everything and working herself to death, which is, by the way, what we're not supposed to be doing, but we all seem to be driven to do it. But she's actually a metaphor for that, because she's saying to me now, it's time to stand still, because you're on the precipice of moving onto the next level of your journey. The resistance is the fear, false evidence appearing real, of not being able to see where you're going. But that's where trust comes in. And that's the bit that we all struggle with, the trusting that we're not going to fall. And if we did find ourselves falling, there's always going to be someone who's going to be there to hold your hand or, you know, pick you up. So resistance is not something to fear. Resistance is that point of pullback before you are projected into the next level of your journey. The bit in between is where you're gathering information, you're using that time to rest and recuperate, so that you're at your most powerful to be able to take that shot and project yourself forward. So I'm thanking management upstairs, them upstairs. They're not upstairs, but I always like to say it like that, because they have a very good way of, when I feel disconnected, they give me that space, the resistance, the weight, and then project me onto the next point of that next channeling. And that's what's happened this morning. And I'm very, very grateful for it. I've had to change the way that I do things at the moment because of me hosting. And so I'm having to look for the spaces where I'm able to do things, because I've got to, spend time with these girls doing things and chatting and everything. So if I'm a bit sporadic over the next 3 weeks, please excuse me. I am doing my best. But on that note, I'm going to leave you with that resistance. Not that I'm giving you resistance, just the understanding that what resistance is, and that it's not something to be feared. It's just you at the point of pullback before you're projected onto the next level of your journey. Okay? You don't have to know how that's going to happen. You just have to trust the process. And that's something that we're all having to learn right now. Trust the process. Don't keep fighting it. Don't keep resisting. Okay? Sending you lots of love today. Bye for now.